So last class what we were discussing? Anyone? Last class. Krishnamshi, Anirudh, Namita, Pranav Sai. What we were discussing last class? Aniket says esterification. Good. So last class our discussion mainly was about the chemical properties of alcohols. Chemical properties of alcohols. In that chemical properties, we have two things. One is the properties due to cleavage of OH bond, as well as properties due to cleavage of CO bond, CO and OH. Yes or no? RCH2H, RCH2OH. So this is some alkyl group. So we have CO bond cleavage and OH bond cleavage. So last class we were discussing about the importance of OH bond cleavage. So what happens if OH bond cleaves? It will produce H plus. So any compound which is giving H plus, what do you call it? Acid. Specifically Bronsted acid. So alcohols acts as Bronsted acids. So we have compared their acidity of alcohols with water, acidity among different alcohols like primary, secondary and tertiary, and acidity of alcohols with phenols. Yes or no? Three things we have done: primary, secondary and tertiary. So acidity primary greater than secondary than tertiary. Just based on injective effect, you can explain this. As more number of alkyl groups are attached, CO bond becomes weaker. So tertiary alcohol, in tertiary alcohol, when compared to OH bond, CO bond cleavage occurs more fastly. So primary greater than secondary greater than tertiary is the correct order for acidity of alcohols. Then comparison of acidity of alcohols and water. So you have two reactions possible, but the alkoxide ion is a good base when compared to OH minus ion. So the alkoxide ion picks up proton from water. So water gives H plus. So water is more acidic when compared to alcohol. You can explain like that. The third issue, in the third issue, we are treating alcohols with phenols. When compared to alcohols and phenols, phenols are more acidic. Why? Because the phenoxide ion has resonance stabilization energy, and in the COH bond, carbon is electronegative, more electronegative. Why? Because it is sp2 hybridized. So all these things are the summary of yesterday's class. Yes or no? All these things were the summary of yesterday's class. So today what we are going to discuss is a esterification reaction and its importance. So how we can write the mechanism for esterification reaction. So in esterification reaction, what happens? Esterification reaction, what mainly happens is RC double bond OH plus R dash OH. R comma R dash are different alkyl or aryl groups. Alkyl or aryl groups. So I know you all understand the importance of mechanism, because from the mechanism only you can write the product properly. Okay. In the presence of H plus, we'll end up with plus side product. Plus side product. So what was the importance of mechanism? So R comma R dash, different alkyl or aryl groups. or aryl groups. Okay. In the first step, what happens is RC double bond OH. The C double bond O, pi electron density between carbon and oxygen. It moves towards oxygen because oxygen is more electronegative, and carbon gets partial positive and oxygen gets partial negative. This must be very simple. Then H plus addition. So O minus tries to attack this H plus to form RCOH, positive charge on carbon. OH bond will be as usual. This is an acid. Esterification reaction involves treatment of acid acid with alcohol to give esters. Yes or no? So from this step, whatever the alcohol we have, ROH, the lone pair and oxygen of this alcohol tries to attack this electrophilic carbon. So oxygen, so one lone pair is utilized in the bond formation. Yes or no? One lone pair is utilized in the bond formation. R will be as usual. This is R dash, right? R dash OH. So R dash OH, lone pair and oxygen, one lone pair is present and one lone pair utilized in the bond formation. So you'll get a positive charge. Is it clear? So in the R dash OH, the alcohol, whatever we have, so we have lone pair and two lone pairs of electrons on oxygen. So out of two lone pair, one lone pair is utilized in the bond formation. So in this reaction, alcohol is acting as a nucleophile. Yes or no? Negatively charged electrons, which are known as lone pairs on oxygen, are attacking the electrophilic carbon. So oxygen has positive charge. We have OH bond. And there is shared electron density. So this shared electron density tries to move towards oxygen. Here, OH bond is weakened. As soon as we have another OH, COH, so this OH tries to attack this hydrogen to give COH. Here oxygen, only one lone pair, two hydrogen atoms and positive charge. And here this electron density move towards oxygen. So we have OR dash. Yes or no? So oxygen negative, hydrogen positive. So this negative charge on oxygen comes into and H2O leaves. Loss of H2O occurs. As loss of H2O occurs, C double bond O, this oxygen gets positive charge and hydrogen is there. This H2O left, so we have OR dash. It will give the loss of H plus. It will give RC double bond OR dash. RC double bond OR dash. This is our ester. These are ester. If you look at the mechanism, OH bond. This is alcohol. This is our alcohol. In this alcohol, we have ROH, right? That is CO bond and OH bond is present. So the OH bond is breaking. Here, look at here, the OH bond is breaking. So we can categorize this esterification reaction. So here, from alcohols, we have cleavage of OH bond. So we can categorize this reaction into the reactions of OH bond cleavage. So esterification comes under that set. These are ester. Why the mechanism is important? Anyone can say? Anyone can give the answer for this question? So same thing, the same thing. What we are going to do now is, RC double bond OH plus R dash O18H. O18. What do you mean by O18? What do you mean by O18? So oxygen is replaced by another oxygen whose mass number is 18. So normally oxygen has a mass number of how much? Normally what's the mass number of oxygen? What, Aniket? 1600, good. Ajay. So Aniket says 8. 8 is the atomic number, not 16 is the mass number, okay? So when I say oxygen, everywhere we are writing oxygen, simply oxygen. That means oxygen in sense, it is in its neutral form. That is, its mass number is 16. So instead of that oxygen atom, if I replace another oxygen whose atomic weight is 18, whose atomic weight is 18. So what you can say? So change in the mass number. You can treat as an. So when you have such type of systems, you can understand from which. So we have final ester, that is okay, RC double bond OR dash. But this oxygen comes from alcohol and this oxygen comes from acid. That can be categorized. So you can have esters like this. So if I give you options like this, OR dash O18 here, plus R C double bond O18 OR dash, or both O18s and both oxygens. So first write down all these things, then I'll explain that example. Noted, Ajay? What about others? What, Gayatri, noted or not? Yes. So the mechanism, the importance of mechanism lies in this question. If in a question I have given O18H, the alcohol, I have changed the oxygen atom of 16 atomic number, atomic mass with 18 atomic mass. You can say isobar. Noted? Bharani. Krishnavamshi done. Okay, fine. So same example. So for the same example, we can see like this. So questions will be tricky. RC double bond OH plus R dash OH. O is 18 here. O is 18 here. So what you will get now? What you will get now? RC double bond O, O18H, O18 R dash plus RC double bond O18. This is OR dash plus, instead of plus, you can write all the options A, B, C. R C double bond O18, O18 R dash. This is option C. Option D is R C double bond O R dash. Option D. Which one is correct? Which one is correct? A, B, C, D. If you look at the mechanism, R O dash, R dash O 18 minus, we are getting this, we get this from alcohol, that is, everyone see the mechanism. R dash O18, it is going to attack the, electrophilic carbon. It is going to attack the electrophilic carbon like this carbon. So whenever we have O18, its mass number is 18. Instead of 16, I have specified one oxygen as 18. I have taken an oxygen atom whose mass number is 18. Like in the hydroboration oxidation and oxymercuration demercuration, we have changed the hydrogen with deuterium, right? So same thing we are doing now. The same thing we are doing now, but we are changing the oxygen. So in the esterification, I get OR dash. In the ester OR dash group, I get from alcohol. So alcohol, we have O18. So this is the correct answer. Option A would be correct. So instead of that, if I change like this, if I give a reaction like this, R dash OH. Here the, in the alcohol we have normal oxygen, but in the acid we have C double bond group. This oxygen is O18. Then our answer would be R C double bond O18 OR dash. That is option B. Option B should be correct. Option B is correct. Here option A is correct. Option A is correct. Okay, for this question, R C double bond OH plus R dash O18H, the option A would be correct. For this question, option B would be correct. Option B would be correct. Now let us even make more interesting. C double bond O O18H plus R dash OH. So I am making the O18 in this acid group, but the OH group, whatever the OH group we have in carboxylic acid, in that OH I am replacing with 18, that is O18. I am replacing the oxygen 16 with oxygen 18. So here what you will get? So when you look at the mechanism, it will be the leaving group, right? When you look at the mechanism, it is in the leaving group. It is in the leaving group. Yes or no? So then which one will be correct? R C double bond O R dash. R C double bond O R dash. Yes or no? This is option D. D is correct. So when I have both 18s, both O18s like this one, R C double bond O18 OH plus R dash O18H, then which will be correct? Then we get R C double bond O18 O18 R dash. In this case, option C is correct. Option C is correct. Okay, these are the four options. In the first case, in the first example, when the oxygen of alcohol is O18, then option A would be correct. In the second case, when in the C double bond O group, if oxygen is O18, then option B would be correct. In the third case, if the OH group of carboxylic acid, if the OH group of carboxylic acid that is replaced with O18, then there will be no change. R C double bond OR dash, that is option D is correct. If both the C double bond O oxygens and OH of alcohol is replaced, then we get both replaced. R C double bond O18 OR dash and oxygen is 18. Option C would be correct. So this question you can never answer if you don't know the mechanism part. So no, that mechanism won't be given to you in your normal textbooks or whatever the books you read. Okay, so this mechanism is quite important. So to answer such questions, mechanism is crucial. So that is the importance of mechanism. Got it or not? Yes, such type of questions are asked in previous JEE. Note down all these things. Note down all these things. How is organic? A bit difficult when compared to physical, or it is okay? Yes, Ajay, we cannot say that such type of questions will come in your JE, but yes, such type of questions are asked in the many mock exams and such in the previous JE as well. Okay. I need answers for the question. How is organic chemistry? Is it difficult when compared to physical, or is it slightly easy? So it's more of understanding. Easier than physical, right, Aniket? So it would be interesting, okay? Yes. What about others? Ajay, Aniket, fine. What about others? What Gayatri? How do you feel about organic? Anirudh, Namita. So Namita says tough. So it's more of understanding. Andrew says, yes, it is more of understanding. Okay, you don't worry with the mechanisms. So just understand the mechanism. That would be easy then. If you worry, there are a lot of reaction mechanisms, so we need to remember all those things. You don't remember first of all. You come out of that thing that you need to remember everything. You come out of that knowledge. What may happen? You have two things. What may happen? You guess. So you may be wrong at the initial attempt. You try to write the correct answers. So if you do like that, sure within a month or less than the time, you will have sufficient knowledge on the organic chemistry. For organic chemistry, persistence is very important. You need to be updated every time. So whatever the functional group you are studying, you should be updated. It's not like physical chemistry. I'm saying again and again. So physical chemistry, you can read out the formulas and substitution can be done by anyone. It's not like physical chemistry. You should be updated. Fine? Noted or not? So please read all the things what I'm discussing in the class. Again and again. So now we are going to start the reactions of alcohols in which CO bond is cleaved. CO bond is there, right? So that will be cleaved. So first example is the example what we have already studied. You can see preparation of alkyl halide reaction. From alcohols like this one, R, OH, R, you can specify CH3, CH2 for our basic understanding, CH3, CH2, OH. So what you will do, halogen acid, HCl, we can say, in the presence of ZnCl2, what happens? What happens? The lone pair on oxygen tries to attack the H place, will get CH3, CH2, OH2 plus, so it will be trying to leave, and Cl minus is trying to attack this electrophilic carbon, and OH minus is trying to leave. The first mechanism, what you have studied in the alkyl halides, yes or no? Okay, fine. So CH3, CH2OH plus HCl in the presence of ZnCl2. ZnCl2 acts as a catalyst. CH3, CH2OH2 plus the lone pair on oxygen attack the H of HCl. So OH2 plus. So this, there is a shared electron density between carbon and oxygen. That electron density move towards oxygen because negative and positive attractions. So the nucleophile will be Cl minus. That Cl minus will now try to attack the electrophilic carbon and OH2 leaves. We finally end up with CH3, CH2Cl. This is the mechanism what you have studied in preparation of alkyl halides, right? So if you look at this, there's a cleavage of CO bond. There's a cleavage of CO bond. This is alkyl halide. Alkyl halide. So if you look at this reaction, there's a cleavage of CO bond. The CO bond is breaking. The CO bond is breaking. So we can categorize the preparation of alkyl halide reaction from alcohols. You can categorize this reaction into cleavage of CO bond reactions. CO bond reactions. Okay, fine. So most important thing here in this reaction is, so while discussing the properties of alkyl halides and properties of alcohols, alcohols are soluble in water. Soluble in water, yes or no? In the properties, in the physical properties of alcohols, we have studied about the solubility. Yes or no? Alcohols are soluble in water due to hydrogen bonding, but alkyl halides are not that soluble. These are not soluble in water. In water. What do you mean by this? Understand this very carefully. Initially, I have alcohol. Initially, I have a beaker. I have taken one beaker. In that beaker, I have alcohol. In that beaker, I have added HCl in the presence of ZnCl2. Write down this HCl plus ZnCl2. This combination is known as Lucas reagent. Lucas reagent. So I have added this combination to the alcohol beaker. So I have a beaker. In that beaker, I have alcohol. To that, I have added HCl plus ZnCl2. Lucas reagent. So initially, we have alcohol which is soluble in water. So the solution must be clear. But as soon as the product is formed, the product is alkyl halide, which is not soluble in water. So we should get turbidity, like the precipitate like thing will be formed. So initially we'll have a clear solution. As alcohol is soluble in water, initially we will have clear solution. But as soon as the product is formed, you write on this HCl plus ZnCl2 is known as Lucas reagent. As soon as the product is formed, it will have some turbidity. Turbidity means some dirtiness, like white color PBT formed the bottom of solution. You can say some dirty. Initially the solution will be clear, but after that it is turbid. It is not clear, it is dirty. In chemical terms we will say turbidity. In chemical terms we say turbidity. Why it is turbid? Why? Because the alkyl halide that is not soluble in water. So initial component alcohol that is soluble in water, whereas the product is not soluble. So clear to turbid solution occurs. Clear solution to turbid, that is dirty solution, conversion occurs. So now the most important thing is, if you have three different alcohols like primary alcohol, secondary alcohol and tertiary alcohol, and we perform the same reaction, we'll get different alkyl halides. Corresponding to the initial substrate, the alkyl halide is going to change. Yes or no? If we change the alcohol, the alkyl halide is going to change. But tertiary alcohols will undergo this reaction fastly. Secondary and tertiary alcohols undergo SN1 reaction, whereas primary alcohols undergo SN2 reactions. Yes or no? So tertiary and secondary and tertiary alcohols undergo SN1. So in the SN1 mechanism, you have formation of carbocation. So there, if you have a tertiary alcohol, we may end up with a tertiary carbocation which is more stable. Yes or no? If we initially have a start from tertiary alcohol, the product will be, so before the formation of product, we have tertiary carbocation which is more stable. So tertiary alcohol undergoes faster, then secondary, and then primary. So tertiary alcohols react faster than secondary and last primary. Why? Why? Because in the tertiary alcohol we have a generation of tertiary carbocation. We have generated tertiary carbocation. Okay. So write down this. So after the final statement is, so when you take a tertiary alcohol and add HCl and ZnCl2, you will end up with turbidity. You will end up with turbidity. Yes or no? But initially, whatever the alcohol you have taken, you don't know. Like Aniket is performing a reaction. I have given him 3 set of alcohols, primary, secondary, and tertiary, but he don't know what type of alcohol it is. But he don't know what type of alcohol it is. So what he'll know? What he know is he'll perform the reaction and check turbidity and see the time. So in which substrate the turbidity is coming faster. Okay, I'll give him beaker 1. So whatever the alcohol present in beaker 1, he'll take that alcohol and perform this reaction. HCl, he'll add HCl and ZnCl2. That is, he'll add Lucas reagent. He'll add Lucas reagent. Whenever he add Lucas reagent, if turbidity appears within minutes, like 5 to 10 minutes, then we can say that is a very fast reaction. We can say the initial substance is tertiary alcohol. Yes or no? If turbidity appears faster, which alcohol reacts faster? It is tertiary alcohol. So we can, based on the time of the reaction, we can decide which type of alcohol we have taken initially. So if turbidity appears faster, that is in 5 minutes, then we can say the alcohol is tertiary. If turbidity appears after some time, like 30 minutes or so, then the alcohol is secondary. If turbidity does not appear at room temperature, so for the formation of turbidity, we need to heat it. So then the alcohol is primary. So from the whole concept, what you can say? So with the help of Lucas reagent, we are able to distinguish between primary, secondary, and tertiary alcohols. With the help of Lucas reagents, we can be able to distinguish between primary, secondary, and tertiary alcohols. So for tertiary alcohols, write down this. Write down all these things. So for tertiary alcohols, turbidity appears in 5 minutes, that is faster. So secondary alcohols, turbidity appears in less than an hour. For primary alcohols, turbidity does not appear at room temperature. So we need to heat the solution of alcohol. Why we need to heat? Because when you heat, we are giving thermal energy. When you heat, you are going to give the thermal energy. Yes or no? So when you are giving the thermal energy, what happens? When you are giving the thermal energy, what will happen? So its velocity increases, velocity of molecule increases. So when velocity increases, the product formation increases. That is, the rate of reaction increases. Yes or no? We have studied in chemical kinetics. With increase in temperature, rate of the reaction increases. Do you understand this or not? Initially we have alcohol, we have added HCl plus ZnCl2. This combination is called Lucas reagent, LUCAS reagent, Lucas. So this substrate is all, product is alkyl halide. When you understand the physical property like solubility, alcohols are soluble in water because they have hydrogen bonding. Alcohols and H2O have hydrogen bonding, but alkyl halides are not soluble in water. You have studied in the properties of alkyl halides. You check that there you have seen alkyl halides are not soluble. That means if something is soluble, you will have a clear solution like NaCl. Salt is soluble in water. Whenever you add salt to water, it is soluble, so the solution would be clear. But sand is not soluble in water. When you add sand, the solution becomes dirty. Yes or no? The same thing. Alcohol is soluble. Initially, we'll have clear solution, but alkyl halide, the product is not soluble. So as the product is not soluble, it will have turbidity. That is, the solution becomes somewhat dirty. Okay. And again, when you want to distinguish between primary, secondary, and tertiary alcohols undergo this reaction fastly because the intermediate would be tertiary carbocation. Because the intermediate would be tertiary carbocation, then secondary carbocation is more stable. Yes or no? So tertiary alcohols react faster, then secondary, and lastly primary alcohols. So whenever we say tertiary alcohols react faster, that means, what do you mean by that? Tertiary alkyl halides formed will be faster. That means turbidity appears faster. So you can categorize that into like this. So tertiary alcohols, when tertiary alcohols is our initial substrate, turbidity appears within 5 minutes or turbidity appears fastly. You no need to mention time. You can simply say turbidity appears fastly. Tertiary, if turbidity appears fastly, then you can say the initial alcohol is tertiary. If turbidity appears after some time, so then we can say that is secondary alcohol. If turbidity does not appear at room temperature, and we need to heat the solution and increase the temperature, increase the velocity of molecules, then only turbidity appears. Then we can say it is primary alcohol. I hope you get it. Got it or not, everyone? So from this reaction, we can actually categorize primary, secondary, and tertiary alcohols. So if the initial alcohol is not known to you, you can actually distinguish between primary, secondary, and tertiary alcohol. This is the test for distinguishing. Okay, so test. This is also known as test for understanding what type of alcohol we have taken initially. So if we don't know, we can actually decide what type of alcohol is formed. So I thought of explaining this in alkyl halides, but in alkyl halides you don't know the physical property of alcohol. So there, if I used to say the physical property and hydrogen bonding, that would be another topic. So we have discussed it in alcohols. Fine? Clear or not? Namita, if you feel difficult, you ask your question immediately. If anything you don't understand, Krishna Vamshi, so whoever feel organic is difficult, you ask your questions immediately, doubts, whatever the doubts you have, you raise your doubts. Noted or not? Okay, write down faster. Chetan, noted, good. Chetan, how do you feel about organic? Is it difficult? Noted, Ajay, good. And this reaction comes under the cleavage of CO bond. What, Karthik? Are you writing your notes? Trinath? Yes, good, Karthik. Okay, fine. So second type of reactions. So dehydration of alcohols. Dehydration of alcohols. So losing OH from one carbon atom and hydrogen from adjacent carbon atom, totally losing H2O from alcohol in the presence of acid and then heating. Then heat. So is called dehydration of alcohols. So from the reaction, so if you have a reaction, like if you have CH3, CH2OH, if you have CH3, CH2OH, so in the presence of any acid, we take mainly H2SO4, or you can also take H3PO4. Strong acids you can take, and upon heating, it will give the formation of loss of OH and H. CH2 double bond CH2. This is alkene. Yes or no? You can write like this. CH2H, CH2OH. So loss of H2O. So loss of H2O minus H2O occurs. That is why you say dehydration. Hydration means H2O. Dehydration means loss of H2O occurs from alcohol in the presence of H2S4 or H3PO4. We get alkene. Alkene will be synthesized. Alkene will be synthesized from using alcohols in the presence of acid and then heating. Okay. So this alkene will have H2O as well as it will have H2O, right? And high temperature is also high. So the formed alkene may undergo hydration, that is alkene plus H2O, hydration may occur, and alcohol can be produced back, or you can say it as a reversible reaction. Reversible reaction occurs. Reaction may occur. So if you look at the property of alkene, alkene reacts with H2O at high temperature to give alcohols. So that is one property of alkenes. Like in the preparation of alcohols, you have seen first one is oxymercuration, demercuration, hydroboration, oxidation. You see in the preparation of alcohol from alkene. So alkene we have treated with H2O in the presence of H plus. Yes or no? Go back to the preparation of alcohols from alkenes. Alkenes plus water in the presence of acid. So acid is there. So high temperature is there. So the backward reaction can be initiated as well. So the forward reaction, in the forward reaction, so the dehydration occurs and alkene will form. But in the backward reaction, the alcohol can be produced again. So if you want to generate, if you want only one reaction, whatever the alkene formed, you need to remove that immediately. So the formed alkene may undergo hydration and the alcohol can be produced back. That is, reversible reaction may occur. To stop that reaction, to stop the reversible reaction, we need to separate the alkene formed immediately. Separate the alkene formed immediately. So how we can separate that? So for that we'll have a separate stream of organic chemistry. Okay, so based on their boiling points, based on the solubilities, there are many factors need to be considered. So for the separation, you need to consider many factors. Like in the first year IP, you have written what is crystallization, what is fractional distillation. Yes or no? In some extent, you may know what is chromatography. So what are all these things? We need to separate the mixture. Okay, so when we have a mixture, we'll separate it out. When we have a mixture, then only we can separate. So for the formation of mixture of compounds, we deal with many reactions like this, whatever the reactions we are seeing right now. Okay, so the alkene formed, if you want to obtain pure alkene, you need to separate that at that particular point only. Okay, the mechanism of this reaction include 3 steps. I don't like this. So all these points should be written. The mechanism of this reaction includes 3 steps. Okay, so what are those steps? How the mechanism would be? We'll discuss it. First, you write down this. So Trina says yes, good. Right. If you have any doubts, you ask your doubt. Noted, Ajay. Good. Others. What about others? Chetan Raj, noted, good. Okay, I'll be erasing from the top. So if you are writing, you can write down. So first step is, step 1 is, so this mechanism you can write. So dehydration of alcohol is an elimination reaction, yes or no? Elimination reaction, that is loss of H2 occurs. Loss of H2O occurs. Fine. So you can see this reaction as an elimination reaction. Like in alkyl halides, we have seen an elimination reaction. So alkyl halide in the presence of alcoholic KOH, what happens? Elimination occurs. Alcoholic KOH acts as a base. Elimination occurs and alkene forms. So here also H2SO4 in the presence of H3PO4. So on heating, the alcohols undergoing loss of H2O, that is elimination reactions. So secondary and tertiary alcohols undergo E2 elimination. Sorry, E1. So they will undergo E1 elimination. E1 elimination. So again, like substitution reaction, elimination reaction is also classified into two types, like E1, E2. Substitution reactions, how we have classified? SN1 and SN2, right? In SN2, attack of nucleophile and removal of leaving group occur simultaneously. In SN1, we have two steps. First is the formation of carbocation. Second is a then attack of nucleophile. Here also, secondary and tertiary alcohols, in the substitution they will undergo SN1 substitution. Similarly, here also secondary and tertiary alcohols undergoes E1 elimination reaction. E1 elimination reaction. They will undergo E1 elimination. So what is E1 elimination? It includes three steps. It includes three steps. Step one is the attack of lone pair of oxygen on H plus from acid. We have taken acid, right? So we have an alcohol. There we have oxygen atom. In the oxygen atom, we have two lone pairs. So one lone pair of oxygen will attack the H plus to form protonated alcohol. That is ROH plus H plus. This is from H2SO4, whatever you have taken, H2SO4. So this lone pair attacks here and with ROH lone pair positive. So we have two lone pairs, right? We have two lone pairs. One lone pair is attacking the H place. So OH bond is formed, new OH bond. One OH bond is already present. So oxygen gets a positive charge. It is known as protonated alcohol. It is known as protonated alcohol. Step 2. From the protonated alcohol, H2O leaves. H2O leaves. As H2O is a good leaving group, so we can specify R also. Let us take CH3, CH3. Okay, let me take one alcohol. So R also we have specified. Why I am specifying the alkyl group R? Anyone answer? So you can have an understanding. So what is R? So if I change the R, the protonated alcohol changes. So let us define R so that we can have a clear understanding. So H2O leaves. H2O leaves. As H2O is a good leaving group, you can see here oxygen has positive charge. Carbon oxygen bond is present. So there is electron density between carbon oxygen bond. So this electron density tries to move towards oxygen, but as it is an even elimination, so from the protonated alcohol H2O leaves and carbocation will be formed. Carbocation will be formed. Everyone should write your notes. Carbocation will be formed. So we can write CH3, CH3, OH, one lone pair is present, positive charge. Will give loss of H2 occurs here. Loss of H2 occurs, we'll end up with CH3, CH3. As H2 is lost, carbocation formation occurs. So whenever there is a formation of carbocation, so we need to include rearrangements of carbocation. So whenever carbocation formation, whenever carbocation is formed, it rearranges itself. It rearranges itself to the most stable one. To the most stable one. So in the rearrangement process, there may be some ring expansion as well. Yes or no? You have seen the carbocation rearrangements, right? So all those things you can include it here. And step 3, whatever the carbocation we have here, there is no rearrangement possible because it is secondary carbocation, so that is only stable, no chance of formation of tertiary. So there are two hydrogen atoms. So this is beta hydrogen, and this is also beta hydrogen. But as it is symmetrical, now what happens? Step 3, the carbocation. So the carbocation upon heating, we have H plus here, right? We have taken H2S4, we have H plus. So we also have HSO4 minus in the solution. H2SO4 gives rise to H plus plus HSO4 minus. So if we have included the attack of lone pair of oxygen and H plus, we have HSO4 minus in the solution. That HSO4 minus, whatever is there, that will pick up the beta hydrogen. So H2SO4 will be again formed. So as it picks up, this bond comes CH2 double bond CH, CH3. Yes or no? HSO4 minus picks up the hydrogen. So CH bond will come into. So positive charge is neutralized. So I have not included the positive charge plus H2SO4. So whatever the H2SO4 we have taken initially, that will be regenerated in the final step. So this is our alkene. This is our alkene. So two things are here. So in the second step, we have carbocation. So carbocation rearrangements occur. Ring expansions, migrations, hydride shifts or methyl shifts occurs. So carbocation rearrangements occur in the second step. After second step, rearrangements occur. In the third step, if we have two same, so here also we have CH3, here also we have CH3. So this hydrogen removal also gives same alkene, and if you remove this hydrogen, we will also get the same alkene. But if there is possibility of different alkene, then Seitzef rule is followed. That is, most stable alkene will be formed. Seitzef rule means the alkene form should have more number of alkyl groups. I think you know that rule. So in the alkyl halide formation, we have discussed that rule, Seitzef rule. Yes or no? You go back to your notes and check your notes. So in the third step, we need to follow Seitzef rule. That is, most stable alkene form. In the second step, we end up with carbocation. So carbocation rearrangements occur. Okay. So everything in organic chemistry follows some process. Okay. So you need to apply those two things now. So write down this. We'll look at one or two examples. Note down all those things. So we can have good examples, interesting examples. Gayatri, yes, good. Ajay, yes. Everyone should note. Kaustubh done. So okay, I'll erase the top part. So these are most important things. So I don't want someone to miss it. Okay, that's why I'm giving some time. So examples. Solve this example. Product. What is your final product? Give the IUPAC name of that product. What is your final product? Give the IUPAC name. So if no one is giving the IUPAC name correctly, I'm very disappointed with that part. Done? So what happens first? So we have lone pair oxygen H2SO4. H2SO4 will give H plus ion. So no, H2SO4 will give H plus ion. So lone pair attacks the H plus. So lone pair attacks the H plus. So we'll have OHH. One lone pair will be present. Another lone pair is utilized in the bond formation. So we'll have positive charge. You will have positive charge. Now what happens? So leaving H2O leaves, loss of H2 occurs. It's a good leaving group. So now we'll end up with, you know, all these are methyl groups. When you left like this, everything is methyl. I think you know that, right? You must be knowing this, but for some students, you can write it like this. Okay. Here we have positive charge. Here we have positive charge. What type of carbocation is it? Secondary. Is there a chance of formation of tertiary? If you look at it, methyl shift can occur. 1,2 methyl shift can occur. Yes, there is a chance of formation of. So if methyl from this carbon shifted to that carbon, we'll have CH3 here again, CH3 here, CH3 here. This carbon gets positive. Yes or no? This is tertiary. Methyl shift occurs. After methyl shift, we'll end up with tertiary carbocation. Secondary to tertiary conversion occurs just because of gain in stability. Gain in stability. So why it is more stable? Simply it will have more number of hyperconjugative structures. You can see the hyperconjugative structures. Okay, so now what happens? This is step 2. Step 2 ends here and rearrangement occur. Step 2 done completely. So step 3, HSO4 minus. HSO4 minus. Now it can pick up this hydrogen CH2H. So it can pick up this hydrogen. It can form CH3, C, double bond CH2, C, CH3, CH3. Okay. So it can similarly pick up this hydrogen, picking up this hydrogen from this methyl, or picking up this hydrogen from this methyl. Both are terminal methyl groups. So double bond here or double bond here, the compound is same. Okay. This will be one product. So it has another hydrogen here. So HSO4 minus can pick up this hydrogen. If it picks up that hydrogen, we'll end up with CH3, C, CH3, double bond C, CH3 and CH3. Yes or no? So which alkene is more stable? This alkene is more stable obviously because number of Number of alpha hydrogens. Number of alpha hydrogens. When you look at here, so it is more substituted alkene. Substituted alkene. Therefore, more stable. Therefore, more stable. So you can write it as this one is as Seyds-Inff product. Seyds-Inff product. And this alkene is known as Hoffman's product. Hoffman's product. Okay. So it will be major, Seyds-Inff will be major. Seyds-Inff product will be major and it will be minor. So you can simply compare number of alpha hydrogens. Here how many alpha hydrogens we have? So 3 plus 1. 3 plus 1, 4. But here 3, 3, 3, 3, 12. So okay. That will be the major product. That will be our major product. So you people end up with this product or not? Rajay, Aniket, everyone should answer. Anyone get this product? Aniket says yes. Good, Aniket. You got minor, Ajay. Where did you do the mistake then? So you should not get the minor product. So you should always write the major product. Is it fine? So few more examples I'll give. Few more examples I'll give. You try those examples. So take those examples as homework. Tomorrow we'll discuss all those examples, okay? So very simple examples will be given to you. Write down this first. First, write down this. Done, I think. Methyl shifting, everything you should write. Everything should include. So you may do the first step correctly. You may do the first step correctly. So H2 leaving can be done correctly. You may not do the methyl shift. If you directly write, remove the hydrogen and write the double bond here. So here there is no hydrogen. If you remove HSO4 minus, takes up this hydrogen. So if you write like this, alcohol like this, so that is completely wrong. That is completely wrong. If you do the conversion, if you do the methyl shift conversion, again if you pick up the Hoffman's product, again that is wrong. So there are three steps where you can do the mistake. So you are not getting which step, Ajay? Alpha hydrogen approach is the last step. This one, you are having doubt in the stability or what? So simple. So you have alkane, right? 4 number of methyl groups. So why the conversion from secondary to tertiary occurs? First of all, you can look at it and compare the hyperconjugated structures, right? Hyperconjugated structures. This carbon is sp2 hybridized. You are looking the number of alpha hydrogens. So here we have 3 plus 3 plus 1, total 7. But here, you look at here, you only have 3. So more number of hyperconjugated structures, more stable. So you're doing the conversion. Again, you write two products. And count the number of alpha hydrogens. So if you count the number of alpha hydrogens here, what type of alkane it is? CH2 double bond C. Here we have CH3. Here we have CH, CH3 and CH3. Number of alpha hydrogens, 3 here and 1 here. 3 plus 1. Here we don't have any alkyl groups. So only this 3 and 1. So 4 alpha hydrogens. But when you write the number of alpha hydrogens here, 3, 3, 3, 3. Total 12. 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. So whatever the adjacent carbon we have, we need to count number of hydrogens on the adjacent carbon. So same thing. Here also you're doing the hyperconjugation. Apply the same logic here. Okay. From secondary carbocation to tertiary carbocation, you're counting the number of hyperconjugated structures or more. How you can say that? More number of alpha hydrogens. More number of alpha hydrogens. That is 3 here, 3 here and 1 here. The same way you can see number of alpha hydrogens here and compare stability. Here we have 4 alpha hydrogens, whereas here you have 12. So it is more stable, so that will be formed. It is more stable, that will be formed. Got it? Okay. Examples for tomorrow. So for 2 basic examples will be given to you. 2 basic examples. Sorry. This is your first example. The second example is this one. So I need major products. So you write the mechanism for those 2 examples. Consider these 2 examples. Write the major product. That is for your homework. Okay. Thank you.